On your peakers.
It's peaker o'clock. We thought it would never come, Matty.
Oh, Hazy, I'm so dishevelled after the weekend.
You do look a bit ragged.
Oh, mate, I've been on the juice all weekend after the peakers. I've been calling it for 12 rounds, and they've got there eventually. So proud of you guys. And to beat the Pirates as well, that even makes it even sweeter.
How about that? 8v1.
Yes.
It's all happened.
It's funny, Hazy, I actually, Saturday afternoon I was at home and I saw the Peakers were winning and I called me mate Flanders, sent him a text message to say the Peakers were home, and you should see what he's done.
Oh, has he contributed?
He's put a contribution in, and I think we might just go to that now for all you Peakers out there.
Straight away.
Enjoy this. The Pirates may not, but anyway, good on you, Flange. Flanders! Flanders! Where are you? What's happened? Flange!
Did we win?
You got it!
Yes! Stuff the Pirates!
Well done, mate!
Woohoo!
You're our inspirational. You had great faith in us, and that's why we won. Thank you, Matthew. And you're going to have a drink with me, aren't you? I know I've had a few, but what about a drink?
I was going to say, you've knocked in a couple, Flange.
Oh, I've had a couple. Yanni and Lee left a bit early.
Yeah, so you knocked a couple in. How are your shakes going there, Flange? I think you've had a couple in.
I have had a couple.
On the Peakers!
To the Peakers. Matthew, can we still make the finals?
Unfortunately, no, Ian. It's mathematically impossible, but you can influence it. It was a fantastic effort, though.
But isn't there a final 8?
Not this year.
Oh, okay. What about Yanni, back-to-back Drayton medalist?
No chance.
No chance. He played well.
No chance. But you beat the Pirates.
Yes, and we were very lucky because the inspirational captain of the Pirates was unavailable, so we still won. But I reckon we would have lost if he had played. Well done, Pete.
Wow. I knew he'd do something crazy, but...
He's good, isn't he, Flanders?
No,
He's good.
not bad.
He has gotten right into the spirit.
Yeah, that's amazing. We'll talk about this game a lot more later. How about that?
Yeah, we will. There's a lot to digest with this.
I've got to just process and
huge, massive implications.
We're just still in celebration.
Oh, mate, I can't believe I'm double parked. I haven't been double parked all weekend. But anyway, that's what it's all about.
So it was a massive weekend. They all are. There are only 3 rounds remaining now after round 11 got put in the books on Saturday. I'd like to say there were some excuses just personally, but there weren't. There were good conditions.
It was actually just surprising because the scoring was pretty poor overall.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the lowest scoring rounds for the season, and for conditions where the weather was actually quite good. A little bit of a light zephyr, but other than that, it was thought there would have been some better scores.
Is it pressure?
It could be, coming to the pointy end of the season, and it was a bit like the footy.
Yeah.
Upsets galore this weekend.
Yeah, I only wish we had got one more upset over the line on Sunday, but we can't dwell on that. We were celebrating anyhow, so it didn't matter. Matty, let's get straight into it. Another massive match. If it hadn't been for the Peakers, we'd be celebrating the Hookers.
Yes.
Because this was a massive defining game for the Hookers to keep their season alive against the Goblins.
They are. They're just sliding through, aren't they? They've sort of got a little bit of the Pirates from last year. Sort of weren't in the contention and then all of a sudden came home with a rush. But yes, they did defeat the Goblins 198 to 189. The Hookers had 11 players while the Goblins had the 9. But the Hookers, Neil Keskinen, 38. First time he's greeted the scorer for a while. Good on you, Neil. So 38 for him. Choco Royal had 35. Soupy Collins 33, Pat Kennedy 31, Chris Dodds 31 and Robbie Moorcroft 30. While the Goblins 34s were returned by Barry Benson and Judy Said. Ian Buzz Burrell had 31. The Sheik, he had 31. Paddy Peacock 31 and Bull Thompson returned from his vacation. He had 28, but it was a fantastic win to the Hookers. Keeps their finals chances alive. Both teams were pretty even through the morning players with Soupy and Judy Said sort of evening each other out, but it was the PM players that come to the fore for the Hookers with Ange Royal, the Choco, she come in 35, and then Shufti Keskinen. That's actually his best score for Premier League history. He's 38.
Really?
Yeah. So that was quite good for him.
That's a good effort. I was privy to watch Rob Moorcroft. He was bowling these beautiful outswingers, just gentle 5-yard draws the whole day.
Was he?
Hit one up 11, just tied a little bit to the trees, and he asked it to draw and then bounce right.
Oh, okay. What's goes against physics there?
Does. I've given him a bit of whacker units. I thought he was
a bit of
make balls swing like that.
Should be over in England.
Yeah.
But one disappointing part for the Goblins was the failure of Josh Kent to show this week. I have received an anonymous photograph of what Josh was up to on the weekend as well, but I'm not sure whether...
Can we see it?
Yes, it's going to be posted now, but I'm not sure what would be more enjoyable, what he's doing or playing golf. But the Hookers are the informed team of the comp, and they have a winning streak of 3 at the moment, while the Goblins have hit the slippery slope, losing their last 3.
They're on the, as you say, they're on the verge right now of
season over nearly.
Season over, so just got to be really careful. We'll talk about that later on. Second match for review, Matty, is the Bullies and the Tornadoes. A big day for the Bullies.
It was. The Bullies 195 defeated the Tornadoes on 189. The Bullies had 11 players while the Tornadoes had 10. Dale Pollock was back too.
Oh, he must have gone well, did he?
Yeah, he went really well. We'll get to him shortly. But for the Bullies, Johnny Wooten, 35 points. He copped a bit of a roast early in the season, but he's starting to find some form at this time. Kev Hudson had 34, Bear All Foot 33, Pete Vogel 32, Phil Stevens 31, and then they had a counting score of 30 for Jackie Rowe, Richie West and Manny Golfers, while the Tornadoes, they were led by Sean Ward, another one who copped it early in the season.
Yeah.
He came in with 38 points and actually wins our Travis Matthew Polo this week.
Well done, Sean Ward. Well done.
Yeah, we had actually 4 players tie on 38 this week, which was Wardy, Neil Keskinen, also Josh Bowen and Snags Finnemore, but Sean wins on a countback, so he's the lucky recipient of that.
Well done, Sword.
Yep, we had Bernie Reid on 34, Steve Bond 32, Doreen Ibis 29, and then 28's counted for them, James Finch and Collies Bell. But it was an unbelievable win for the Bullies, and they were able to win with not one of their players playing to their handicap.
Is that right?
Which is very unusual.
Yeah.
So they all were just around that 35 to 33, 32 mark. And they also did it without their top 3 players really contributing, which was Ross Gibbs, Sean Rodwell and Alan Sweeney. They had no influence on the contest, so it was a great win for them. Johnny Wooten does have bragging rights over Ando. Ando only had 22.
22?
22 for Ando. And he parred the triangle as well. So Johnny's got bragging rights. They were discussing what they were playing for, but I didn't hear the outcome of what that was. But Johnny, your team wins and you smashed your son, so good on you. But you look at it, Tornadoes were beaten by 6.
Yeah.
And we need to talk about Steve Bond from the Tornadoes.
What's Bondi got?
I'm not sure whether he cost him the win, but he was 27 points after 13 holes.
Cruising.
And then in the last 5 holes, he went wipe, 2 points, 2 points, wipe 1 to finish on 32. If he had been a bit stronger at the end,
just bogeyed in.
Could that have been influenced the result there? The return of Flea Pollock.
Well, this must have been special.
Flew in early Saturday morning.
He was rested. He must have been had a lot of Zeds under his belt over there in Thailand.
Didn't bring his A game. Maybe he left his A game in Thailand. Because
Really?
you realise they got married while they were in Thailand.
Oh, I did see a couple of
So
images.
congratulations to Flea and Yvette on that there. But the Flea, he was insipid. 26 points.
26? I think he averages 33, you told us.
Yeah, and it's his worst score in 23 Premier League rounds.
Holy cow. So maybe it was a vet.
Well, I'm not sure whether Dale was just a little bit worn out from coming back, or the flight took it out of him, jet lagged, I'm not sure, but he was pretty poor. But the Bullies, they've won their last 3. So 3 of their last 4, while the Tornadoes have only had 1 win in their last 4 since
we're going to
season
investigate
rate.
the vet's score later
We
on.
will, yes, see if she's worn out as well.
All right. Worn out.
Jet lagged.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Speaking of worn out, the Warriors, my brave Warriors,
Yes, you were with the Warriors this week, weren't you?
I was a Warrior this week. In for Tim Benham. Now, Tim Benham, he's sent us a little video here. We want to thank him very much. A couple of little things we might throw in here. I'm not even sure, but we'll see. He sent us a couple of things.
Hey Matty, Hazy, how you going? Just thought I'd show you today's catch. 7 red emperor for today. I think I'm a better fisherman than golfer, and that's saying something. But anyway, Hazy, I hope you do well for me. There's a bit of pressure on the line, but anyway, good luck, boys. Take it easy.
Look in there. Here he comes.
Here he comes.
He's coming up.
Ooh, he's not happy about it, but.
No.
Ooh.
Here he is. Did you get him? What is that?
Big shark.
Big shark.
Fuck.
Did you get him?
Yep.
What is he?
Oh.
Did you get him?
Yeah, I'm taking a video.
What?
Big. Big. That's the guy. What? Cut it.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a shark that he's
is.
wrestling aboard there. Up in Darwin.
Who would have thought?
Whoa,
Just on a little rod like that he could get something like that.
that's an extraordinary image. So I was Tim Benham.
Right, and what was the arrangement?
Well, the arrangement was he was going to give me $100 to play and throw in another 50 if I had a counting score.
Right, okay. So we'll have to work out whether you had a counting score shortly,
Yeah, okay.
but okay, we'll see. But anyway, the Crusaders, too strong for the Warriors, 202, 192. The curse does exist. But the Crusaders had 10 players, the Warriors had 11. The Crusaders actually win the golf balls this week on 202, so congratulations to them. But for the Crusaders, Josh Bowen had 38, Craig Finnemore 38, Johnny Rowe 36, Bobby Gibbs 30, Jeanette Johnson 30 and Jan Cogger 30. While for the Warriors, Jill Barker stood up to the plate, she had 36, Paul Kirby 33, Bullfed Allen 32, Brian Bell 32, Johnny Leading 31 and a counting score of 28, Mark Hayes. Are you going to make Timmy feed me Ballerina another 50 for 28?
28, baby.
And you
Wrap
still,
your laughing gear
you
around there,
still
Tim.
couldn't get him over the line.
I'm not sure, technically that's 150, but oh, geez, I've got a bit
You
of
feel guilty for taking
shocking,
that?
Shocking. If I put my hand out, I'd give myself an uppercut already.
Yeah.
That was no good. I'm really sorry to all the Warriors fans out there.
Yeah, but the Crusaders, they just showed their class this week. Dominant display from those 3 players of Josh, Snags and Rowie.
Yeah.
They set the early standards, while Jill Barker, she tried her best with 36, but Snags Finnemore, he may have let an unbelievable round get away. 25 points after 11. Wiped the 12th, but then was sort of solid home and still got him with 38 though. But I suppose for you, Mark,
Yes, Matthew.
you looked at your scorecard, 3 points on the first hole,
Yeah.
and then you were 5 points after 6 holes, is that correct?
Well, I had a little 3-footer on the second to have 6 points after 2 holes, Matty, and
Ooh.
that slipped by, and the one back slipped by.
Did you have a little bare all foot, did you, on the greens? Little sword fight?
I just butchered the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and then it sort of.
But the positive was that you got through the triangle okay, and you might have mastered the 18th.
I have mastered the 18th. there's no
Okay.
doubt about
No,
it.
that's good.
Hard the triangle, joined Ando, but I did beat him though by 6 points.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't good, Matty. I'm sorry to everyone. It was just not pretty.
yeah, should be embarrassed.
It was. Now the fourth match. This is the one. Look, we talked this up from a long way out. This had upset written all over it. You predicted it a long way from home. And here it was, the formerly disgraceful Peakers against the high-flying Pirates. Look, first of all, before we go too far into the celebration mode, I want to give you a bit of an uppercut.
Really?
Well, I mean, Scuba put it on the line here last week, the put up or shut up.
Yeah, true.
You gave him donuts.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working through the logistics of what it takes for you to actually play.
Well,
Maxie was ready to go. He was ready to man up in the shop.
But you can't just change the rules mid-season. There'd be an exodus of players. They don't want to compete against the champ. They don't want to compete against me. And Scuba Hub couldn't afford me. I've told him it's $1,000 for me to get on the line there. Yeah, but
So you didn't want to be the scuba sub?
No. I can't play for the Pirates. Unless they make the finals, then they need me. But then
No, there'll be no finals play from either of us, but pretty disappointing. I know that there was a big rumour going around the club on Friday that you were in.
I was surprised about that. I don't know where that started, but I think you might have started it. But no, you can't change the rules mid-season. You're man enough for both of us to fill in. And you performed admirably.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't even got onto the recomedy yet. That's how good you're going.
That's true, that is true. Anyway, let's get to the celebrations because we don't want to diminish anything that the Dirty Peakers have done.
The Peakers.
Finally, after 11 rounds and only one draw to show for it, they clobbered the Pirates.
They did 198 to 189. The Peakers had 11 players. The Pirates had 10. For the Peakers, our man, Yanni Lathouris, the Greek god, 36 points. Our other main man, Ian Flanders, 35. Our other main man, Lee McMuffin. The three we highlighted last week all stood up and took notice of me. 34 for the McMuffin. Barry Doyle, 33. Kenny Ladder, 30. And old boy Milne, 30. He was around celebrating with me on Saturday night.
Was he?
We knocked the box over on Saturday night, so he was happy.
You did say that party's been going on for 48 hours.
Yeah, well then Pirates, Johnny Cross at 34, Mickey McNeil after his serve 32, Darren Heaton 32, Joy Francis 32, Justin McGrath 30 and Jerry Raviani 29 were the scorers. But yes, the Peakers finally starting to live up to the potential. We've been spruiking. The big guns were there. Johnny Cross, he was good for the Pirates, but just didn't have enough helpers there. It was tight early looking at the scores, but I think the Pirates, probably the round of Justin McGrath probably epitomises them on Saturday. And I'm not sure whether it cost them victory because it was a 9-point defeat, but Justin started on the 10th hole and he started like he was shot out of a cannon off the boat.
As in flying or about
Fly,
to
like
drown?
just launching.
Oh, okay.
After 6 holes, 16 points.
Wow.
After 6.
That'd be a couple under for him, wouldn't it?
It reaches the triangle and goes wipe 2-1 for 19 for the first 9. Still a great start for the round for someone of his ability, in a great position to launch into the back 9.
True.
And then on the second 9, what did Justin do? He went 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, he put up the picket fence.
Picket fence to finish with 30.
Ooh.
What a waste.
Oh.
And he didn't have a wipe on the back 9, but like the front 9, the easier 9, he just, particularly I was just so disappointed because I was looking at him, tracking, I'm thinking he's going for 42 here.
Yeah.
If he had have had that, potentially that was the difference. So luck was on the Peakers side this week.
So you're saying he underperformed by 12 points?
Yeah.
Cop that, Justin.
Yeah,
Cop that.
no, it's good to see him return to a little bit of form because he had been consistent, but yeah, I think he would be extremely disappointed when he came in.
Oh well, there you go. It was a massive week in terms of the ladder.
Peakers are still on the bottom though.
Peakers aren't going to move from the bottom. I hate to tell you, Matty. I know you're on board and you're the #1 ticket holder, but they're done and dusted in terms of finishing 8th. But the Hookers continue to sort of keep their season alive. Let's have a look at the ladder right now. And we see the Crusaders are the ones who now have moved to the position where it's in their hands. I know they're equal with the Bullies, but a superior percentage. They could do some damage in the next couple of weeks and sew up the double chance up the top. So
Well, the season's so even this year, Hazy, as you can see on the ladder there, that you'll actually need more wins to make finals this year than you did last year. Last year, you only needed to have 26 points and you made the finals, which was 6 wins and a draw. And we already have 5 teams on 24 and we still have 3 rounds to go. So it's, the way the results of the games has been is it's just so even. So yeah, anyone from 1 to 7 potentially can still make the top 4.
Do you want to move into the preview then with this in mind? The Hookers keep their season alive and it is hanging by a thread admittedly, but both the Hookers and now the Goblins are on 20 points and both desperately need to win. The first match this week we're going to look at is the Hookers and the Warriors, who suddenly Just a little bit wobbly.
Hookers are 7th, Warriors are 4th. Actually the same ladder positions when they met last time, Mark.
It's amazing, man.
It is. But the white hot Hookers, who have won their last 3, but still sit 7th, but now only 1 game out of the top 4. Are they timing their run to perfection? When they met last season, the Warriors actually pummeled them 204 to 181.
Oh, wow.
But we have to note though, this was the week that the Hookers only had 6 players, while the Warriors had 11. John Leading, Jill Barker and Ian Lachlan top scored for the Warriors, while Dan Hopgood and Bill Adams were top for the Hookers. I think the Hookers will need something out of Helen Powell, Geldof James, while the Warriors need something from Julie Milne. She hasn't had a counted score for 2 weeks, for the last 2 weeks, and Ian Lachlan hasn't had a counting score in his last 3 weeks. But it is interesting to note with the scoring that although the Hookers have won their last 3, if they had have played the Warriors in each of those 3 weeks, they would have lost twice.
Was that right?
Yeah. And the
Stats are
the Hookers have the best form, but from the last 4 rounds, since we resumed from the break, the Hookers team counted scores are the lowest of all the teams in the competition.
But yet they've won 3.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Your stats are just so in-depth. It's extraordinary.
And the Warriors actually have been the highest scoring team over the last 4.
Yeah.
And they've only, I think, won 2, I think it was. Yeah, they've had 2 wins. So isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. It's just a matter of who you play. When, like, we look at the ladder, and you can see over a period here, the Crusaders have had more than 100 points, or fewer than 100. I don't even know what to say. The Peakers have had 100 more points put on than the Crusaders, and that's the big difference.
Yeah.
So it's who you play when you play them.
But yeah, the Hookers are in form, but yeah, the Warriors can't be written off.
Crusaders and Tornadoes. This is a big game for both teams, but for different reasons, mate.
Yeah, Crusaders first, Tornadoes 5th. Massive implications. A win for the Crusaders, you would think, all but assures the finals appearance for them, and the Tornadoes must win to stay in touch with the top 4. Last time they met, it was a 2-point difference, with the Crusaders getting over the line, 193 to 191. The ladies led the way in this contest with Jan Cogger and Jeanette Johnson top scoring for the Crusaders, while Norma Vogel was the best for the Tornadoes. Dale Pollock will hopefully return to some consistent form after his first up flop. But they will be hoping for a bit more out of Norma Vogel too, because she hasn't been great the last few weeks. Alan Kerry and James Finch also had a couple of lean weeks. Crusaders will be hoping, and they can't rely on Snags Finnemore, Josh Bowen and Johnny Rowe every week. They still need for Cooper McMurrich and Bobby Thompson to maybe give them a little bit more than what they've been dishing up. The Crusaders will be still missing Cliffy McCorkle and Nipper Dodds. They'll be still away, so they will be at least 2 players down.
Okay, the third match for discussion, Matty, the Bullies, the second place Bullies, and the Pirates. I mean, this doesn't get any bigger than this.
It is. You could say, is it match of the week? Second versus third, but the Pirates lost to the Peakers. How will they respond? Are they going to be like the Cats in the AFL this year? You can only go to the well so many times and you can't... Are they punch drunk? I don't know. Like, they just can't get there. But the Bullies have won their last 3 of their last 4 games, and the Pirates are 2-2. Scoring wise, over the last 4, the Bullies have scored 783 points, while the Pirates have scored 777. Last time they met, the Pirates won 199 to the Bullies 185. The Pirates had Yvette Pollock and Toby Prime lead the scoring on 38 and 37. Oh, how times have changed. Times have changed. While Johnny Wooten and Sean Rodwell led the scoring for the Bullies, but it was only with 32 when they won. So both teams need to lift from players, and if they want to feature finals, the Bullies need something out of Sean Rodwell. Best score over the last 4 rounds has been 31 points. You're better than that, Sean. And Jackie Rowe, you've only reached 30 points twice in the last 5 since you had a 37 earlier in the season. The Pirates, well, what do we say about them? They're consistent across the board, but they need someone to take it by the scruff of the neck and put a big score in. The makeshift captain, Darren Heaton, or Justin McGrath continue his resurgence, or will the so-called recruit of the year,
The self-professed.
yes, Jezza Prime, he needs to lift. He talks himself up as being recruit of the year, but unfortunately when you required last week against the Peakers, you showed the ineptness on the golf course that you had with only 25 points. Just shows how maybe mentally fragile you might be when it comes to this pointy end of the season.
Well, I did have the pleasure of watching him play on Saturday, and he needed to play the triangle 1 under.
Right.
To get to 30 points, which is crucial in the little side games that we have. And he stood on the 16th tee, Matty, and he went bang, 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 birdied it. And I thought, oh, here he goes. He's going to show a bit of bottle.
Yeah.
But then played the par 3 17th like it was a par 5, laid up a couple of times and just butchered it completely.
I didn't get over the water.
No, I didn't.
Really?
Didn't
Man,
even
if
get,
he's
didn't even,
talent,
no, I know. Didn't even get close. Then on the 18th, as you see in this little video here, he's put it to a place that I think that no one's ever been on off the 18th tee, between the first tree and the second lot of trees here for his second shot.
Yeah, well, I was trying to work out where the video was and where he was hitting from, but I just didn't ring a bell because I don't think anyone's been there.
No, I think it's new ground, Burke and Will style, and that ended in another dirty result on the 18th. So just not much ticker there.
Nah, well, he is quite small. He did say, though, that he did replace the mirrors in his house. So
is that right?
Yeah, that's why he missed last week.
Okay.
So,
just before we move on from this game, is it a good time now to talk about how Yvette Pollock fared on the week?
yes, she beat Dale. She had 27.
Oh, 27? Still not a great score though, Matty.
No, 27 points. She had bragging rights in the household, but
She was a bit jet lagged as well.
I think so. I reckon she must have been.
Yeah.
But that monogamous relationship's there, and they're now official, and yeah, I suppose they can focus on their golf more now.
Watch out for these overnight flights. They take it out of you,
that
don't
jet
they?
lag.
Which sets us up for the final game of the round. Now, this is your girls and boys, the Peakers, and the Goblins. It's at the bottom end of the table, but you know the Peakers have got this obsession now with upsetting the apple cart, and the Goblins are right on the knife's edge.
Yeah, Peakers are last, Goblins are 6th. This contest will decide the finals aspirations for the Goblins, and this match is really about them and how big a slide they've had down the ladder. After 8 rounds, the Goblins sat firmly entrenched in 3rd position on the ladder, and now after 3 straight losses, they've gone to 6th and 1 game out of the top 4. Who would have thought that would have occurred? The Peakers will come in extremely confident after last week's victory over the top of the table Pirates. When they met last time, the Goblins won 207 to 198. Judy said starred with 41 points for the Goblins, and Woody had 36 and Bull Thompson had 34, while the Peakers had Flanders on 36 and Dave Milne 34, Lynn Kirby and Robbie Stig on 33. In the corresponding match, the Peakers were without the jet-setting Japanese icon Yanni Luthouris. He was away. Dudar Wilson and Marion Keskinen as well. They were away. So a couple of big outs that they had. And the Goblins didn't have Pat Peacock, and that was when she was at her prime as well. So if the Goblins are to win, they're really going to need something out of Woody, Sheik Reynolds, Richie Howes and Bull Thompson, while the Peakers need something from Lynn Kirby, Lloyd Shepherd and in particular Darren Wilson. He has been extremely disappointing the last sort of 4 to 5 weeks. But the Goblins will be missing the Recometer this week again.
Not again.
Missed last week. Himself and Jen decided to head north to some warmer climate. I have had some photos sent through of there could be a little bit of a split in the marriage too. Jen sort of found herself a new fella by the looks at this photo as well that's scrolling through.
Oh no!
So I think Rico's a bit jealous, and
really?
Yeah, it could be some matrimonial heartbreak happening here.
Not as much as for his Goblins teammates though, let's be honest.
Well, I was going to say, the Goblins are missing him. He needs to come back. Come on, Rico. Your last 5 scores you've had when you've played, Rico, were 30,
that was good.
26, 24, 27, 28. So he's on the incline.
Off a very low base.
Yeah.
What about who is on the Recometer watch this week, Matty?
So, as I said to you pre-filming, Mark, I did have 5 names down. And like one for instance I'll mention, which was Neil Keskinen.
Yeah.
But he saved himself this week with his 38 points because he'd only had 25, 22, 29 and 26.
Yeah.
So he was prime candidate, but his 38 saved him. Norma Vogel, she was also mentioned. She'd had 21, 26, then she had 35, 24, 19. So she was probably candidate. Lloyd Shepherd, 28, 30, 31, 29, 29. Probably real prime. Bob Thompson from the Crusaders, 30, 26, 27, 31, 29, 28. So that's...
Armchair ride in the top team, Bob.
But I think we need to potentially give it to a man who I respect, admire. He was 6th place in the Drayton Medal last year, so one of our prime
Must be a good player.
peak performers last year, and that goes to Stan Maskell. Now, Stan, in your last 5 games, you've had a 33, which is still 3 worse than your handicap, but you've also had 25, 27, 29, and then on Saturday you had 22. In those prime perfect conditions, the man who hits it as straight as you and putts as well as you are a lot better than that. And I think the Crusaders will need you this week to fire up and at least have 37 if your Crusaders are going to win.
37.
Yes,
The
I've
benchmark.
got faith in Stan.
You're a big rapper for his putting.
I am.
aren't you?
He's a good putter and he just hits it so straight, very consistent. So I'm not sure what happened on Saturday for 22.
Down in Endo territory.
Yes, very average. 6 less than you as well. So
Counting score, thank you, Matthew. That's all I need to say. I think that's it. A massive week 11 and sets up only 3 more rounds to go now, 12, 13 and 14, and we'll start in the next week or so talking about the Drayton Medal count, the big night of nights for the Neville Richards Premier League.
So what's entertainment this year, Hazy? You're going to get up on stage and beat out a few, or we're going to get Lee McMuffin to entertain and sing for us like you did last year?
It's going to be hard to stop him doing that, I think. That's probably more the point.
Yeah, yes, well, his son might be here, so that might put the brakes. No, I wouldn't put the brakes on Leroy.
We'll figure something out. I know there's already talk about a couple of special guests.
Oh, okay.
I think Flange might have the taste for organising entertainment now that he's got that video into it.
Yes, yeah, well, he does rate himself, so.
Anyway, more details coming up on that. We'll get you not only the players along but their partners as well, hopefully.
Yep.
Details in coming weeks. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Hazy. Pleasure.
Thanks to Neville Richards, great sponsors of ours. Wouldn't happen without them. Of course, to Your Golf Pro, the big fella, and all his crew in the shop, Callaway, and everyone who makes it possible. Thank you very much. We'll catch you again next week.
Thanks, guys.